Dean, how you doing, mate? Thank you so much for joining me.
Not bad, not bad.
Good, good.
No worries.
As I was just saying, I'm very appreciative of you making the time. This is a subject I've been interested in for a very, very long time. Crop circles are incredibly beautiful. There's a lot of mystery around them, and having the chance to speak to you seems like I might actually have the potential of finding some answers to some of these questions that I've dabbled with for many, many years.
You possibly will. I'll give you some insight, that's for sure.
Nice one. So you make crop circles, is that correct?
I do, yes.
Yeah. Okay.
More so commissions now, but yes, in the past I've made quite a few crop circles.
So when did you get into making crop circles? How did it all begin?
It kind of stemmed from the early 90s when they first started making an appearance on the news and TV and everything. And I was living close by to the area, and a few friends were really interested in them. And word got around they were man-made because there was a few people we knew who knew people who made them, and it was still top secret back then. So I forgot about it for a few years, and it was probably the early 2000s when I moved up to Wiltshire.
Yeah, right.
That's when they started becoming more complicated than they were in the sort of early 90s. They've gotten really good. And then I saw some of the circles and investigated them and thought, wow, these are amazing. You know, how the hell can man make these?
Yeah.
Yeah, and that was it. And yeah.
So what were your...
I met up with, sorry.
No, you continue, please. Sorry.
Yeah. I met up with one of the original makers from the early 90s. I think it was from a Facebook post back in sort of 2007 when it first came out. Yeah, I met up with this guy. Went out and helped him make a formation, and that's it. That's where it stemmed from, and I carried on, built my own teams, and
yeah, right. So you didn't know this guy? You just kind of reached out and you found out that word on the street he was one of the makers and just connected, and he was happy to have you.
Yeah, so I met one guy. I had made up this Facebook group back in 2007, and this guy was local and he was interested and said, "I know how they're made." Basically met up with him. We went out and made a couple, and real basic type things, and then we both met up with this other guy who'd been making them in the early 90s, and yeah, that stemmed from there, and built our own teams, and yeah.
What kind of preconceived ideas did you have about crop circles kind of before you actually got involved in actually making them?
I actually believed in some of the strange theories because I was actually thinking, how the hell can man make these? It's amazing. And why would they go out at night and make these? And there's all these theories about, obviously the main ones, ETs and UFOs and orbs. Orbs is one of the main ones because, you can't really explain them. And there's orbs caught in formations and whirlwinds and ley lines and all sorts of theories. And I just couldn't get my head around any of them. Yeah, but I mean, literally, when you get out there and you make them, or help make them, you can understand how it's done. Then you can understand how the other side can perceive how difficult it could be, and how amazing they are.
Yeah, I mean, I think that's kind of one of the things I really want to get my head around is like, how can they be done? Because I mean, there just seems to be. I'm an artist, but I'm a muralist. So, it is different, but it's a part of that is making images on a large scale.
Yeah.
Exactly.
Yeah.
So there's a few tricks of the trade, and just obviously a painting rather than pushing down crops and things. And it's you're working vertically on a wall rather than horizontal. And there's definitely tricks of the trade, but I also know how long some things take. And
that's right. Yeah. You plan your time in. So a lot of it's planning. Obviously, as you know, being you're an artist, planning and preparation is literally 75% of the work.
Yeah, but painting
Yeah.
is there's a lot more room for error. There's a lot more room for if you make some drips, you can clean them up. Usually, you'll kind of paint in the background, so if you go out of the lines or whatever, you can correct those proportions and stuff. Pressing images in crops is, I guess, kind of like there's just no room for error. I mean, I kind of feel the same with some like watercolor artists. If you make a tone
Yeah.
slightly too dark, it's like, yep, that's a wrap. We got to start again. But you kind of can't really start again on such a large scale. So, yeah, I'd love to get
No.
into the nitty gritty of the nuts and bolts in it all. But yeah, I actually got onto you through Harry Pack, incredible psychedelic artist
Yeah, yeah,
from
yeah. Amazing artist. Yeah.
yeah, yeah, and such a lovely bloke as well, from your neck of the woods. And I think that's kind of what sparked this because I'm obviously extremely into crop circles and love his art. And then I saw that one of his kind of Prism Elf characters popped up in a crop circle. So I was thinking, okay, this is either one of those, like, this is a glitch in the simulation. This is just one of those cosmic weird things that's happening, or maybe Harry knows something here, and I can actually try and get some answers. So you know Harry, and I guess first question would be: did you make that crop circle of his artwork?
So yeah, yeah. Obviously, I know Harry. Harry knows me. You can put two and two together, but I haven't really had permission from Harry to say anything.
Right, right,
You know
right,
what
right.
I mean?
Gotcha. Picking up what you're putting down.
But
So
it was a pretty good. Yeah, it was a pretty good formation actually. It was. Yeah,
it's
yeah.
beautiful.
It
Yeah.
did turn out to be bit of a glitch in the matrix.
Yeah, like I mean that's the thing with all of these things. Like I've obviously carried preconceived ideas, largely aliens, possibly. What were some of the other ideas? I was like, could it be a natural phenomena? Who knows? The only other thing I was thinking, excluding people like yourself, could it be some kind of like satellite technology where things are like almost printed with like concentrated energy? So I've really kind of gone through the gamut
Yeah,
of
there
different.
is some crazy theories out there. There really is. Yeah.
Yeah, I've been a believer in many of them
Microwave technology and, like you said, 3D printed from
from space.
from wherever. And
Totally.
but yeah, what I can say is that there has been obviously some crop knocked down by natural phenomena, or big hailstorms or heavy winds.
Hmm.
And you can get just like big areas of flattened crop.
Yep. Yeah.
Um, Possibly, you get an isolated sort of small tornado in an area, in mini whirlwind, that can flatten, or make a sort of saucer nest type formation.
Mm-hmm.
Animals can get into a field, and a group of deer making a bed in sort of the area will also flatten crop and make a small natural formation. But other than that, it's humans.
Yeah. I mean, so I guess that's my first question. I mean, do you believe they are all man-made? Are these all just things that are created by humans?
Yeah, personally, I believe every single one is man-made.
I mean,
Apart from what I mentioned before about animals
yeah, yeah.
and some natural phenomena. Yeah.
I mean, to poke fun at my own beliefs before, that does seem like the most obvious answer that they are human made. But I guess what's so insanely striking to, I mean, so many people is the complexity of some of these designs. Some of them are just, they're bafflingly complex. And that was part of the reason, as someone who makes images and stuff, of just thinking like, I don't know how long it would take me to draw this on a piece of paper. Could I draw some of these designs in one sitting, in one night? And I wasn't sure whether I could, let alone, getting in the middle of the night, undetected. I don't know whether it's one person, whether it's a crew of people, covering your tracks and not being able to see, no vantage point to kind of step back. So I guess, yeah, First off, how do you make them?
So, as you were saying, you look at formation and you think to yourself, man, I can take, I'll take a long time to draw that on paper, let alone into a field. But yeah, you're right in saying that it does take quite a while to put a formation and draw it to scale and put it onto paper first. It takes, it can take 4 or 5 hours, to get it all right, get the measurements sorted out, but then obviously the planning can take a lot longer, finding the formation and altering it and blah blah blah. So yeah, you good 4 or 5 hours plus on paper to create, to create your artwork. But then you go out with a team. You've already got the organizational skills in your head of how the plan's going to work. You've got the plan all written down. So with a team, that whole formation and the planning can take just 4 hours itself. So the actual execution of it is, like I said, only about 25% of the work.
Yeah.
But yeah, also is the planning of finding the area, scoping out, going to the field, check out, if it's okay, finding an area to sort of park nearby where you won't be detected getting into the field type thing.
Yeah.
So there's all that. And yeah, once you're in the field, no torches, no phones, complete darkness, and all fields have got tram lines where the tractor goes up and down to spray the crop, whatever. So yeah, you go up to the tram lines, you find a center line, or find the area where you want to put the center point. So you always start from where we have a base. And you can kind of step off and work on the side of the tram line, so the aerial photos don't look like you're just in the middle. Create your center point there, and just it's aesthetically better.
Yeah,
and that's it. There you go.
I have noticed those tram lines that you called.
Sorry,
I have noticed those tram lines, and
I
thought, well, yeah, you could get in. I think
they're in pretty much every single field have got these tram lines, and there's the odd few which are organic. You have no tram lines at all, but they're quite rare. So yeah, once you're in there, you can you set up your center circle or center area as kind of a base camp for your team, and you can have various basic circles. You just need your surveyor's tape measure, which is your tape measure, which is fiberglass, and it's really strong. So you can pull that out to about 30 meters. You can get 30, 50-meter ones, which are what we use basically. You can get 100 meters, but that's just going a bit crazy. So you can stretch it out, walk all the way around with someone standing center, and create a perfect 30-meter circle. You add an extra couple of members to the team, they can follow behind the person scribing out and stomp down the crop in their wake as they're going around. There you go. You got a nice big flattened circle.
So
then it stemmed from there, and circles evolved, got more complicated, and designs got better. Yeah.
So you're using ropes and planks of wood. Is that kind of how you're actually stomping them down?
So yeah, basically it's a plank of wood, usually about 1 to 1.2 meters long, and you've got the rope knotted on each end, tied up around in a big loop, so you can hold the rope at waist height, and have your foot on the board, and you can kind of use it in a forward stomping motion.
Yeah, right.
So that just pushes the crop down on top of each other. So you're continuously folding over rather than breaking it, and then that's kind of one of the explanations. Oh, why is there never any broken crop, and it's all laid down so neatly? You've got kind of your board just folds over.
Right. So you're kind of just before talking about getting that center point circle, and I can totally fathom how you could do a circle maybe with a 5 to 10 meter radius or something. But some of these designs, once you get out, I've got a book of crop circles here. Here's one on the front cover. I don't know how big that is, but it's rather large, and I mean, I still can't fathom how you get that outer circle, which I'm just guessing. Let's just say that's 30 to 40 meters. I'm guessing, maybe even 50 meters from end to
Yeah,
end.
so yeah, that's good guess. Yeah, it's generally about 30 to 50 meters, depending on the amount in your team.
Right.
Yeah, like so, as you were saying, you get that center point. So you have an anchor man at the center who's holding the surveyor's tape measure.
Mm-hmm.
So like I said, the surveyor's tape measure is quite strong. It's made of fiberglass and it's flexible, and it's better than any sort of type of rope or which is stretched. So it's not really stretchable.
Gotcha.
And it's 30, they come in lengths of 30, 30 meters, 50 meters, or 100 meters. So yeah, basically, we normally take kind of in the field of 30-meter tape and a 50-meter tape. You can get your 50-meter tape. You've got your anchor man in the middle. The other person in the team walks out into the tram line, pulls the tape all the way down the tram line, stretching out to 30 meters. Then you've got it taut from the anchor man, and he just scribes his way around,
Right.
all
Right.
the way around, and then meets back in the center. And there you go. You've got your outer circle made.
Gotcha. Gotcha.
And once you've got your point in the middle, well, sometimes we also take a surveyor's laser.
Mm-hmm.
So you put your laser in the middle on a tripod in the center. Then you can cast out lines. So once you've cast out lines, you can obviously on your laser you've got like a protractor, so you've got all your increments of degrees on the laser, or to one
45,
degree point.
90, etc.,
Yeah,
etc.
you got them. Yeah, in 1 degree increments. So you can you got your 360 degrees. You can create 13 pointed stars, 14, 15, 16. You just got to split your radius up and split your 360 degrees.
So that would
That's where your plan comes in. So you have it all written down on your plan, where to put your numbers. That's kind of the only time your light comes out in the field is you use your kind of screen phone light to see the increments on the laser, and then once you've got that, you've got an infinite number of designs. You can cast out lines of a couple of meters,
mm,
create some presence of lines, and there you go.
yeah, yeah.
You can go into a field if you're kind of experienced, and you can just create a formation on its own with no plan.
So another thing
It's
I've
quite fun to do.
yeah, yeah, I bet. I bet it's really fun to do. Um, so another thing that I've kind of noticed, because again, like I said, I've tried to figure out how some of these would be done. I really went through a period a couple of years ago where I was really trying to figure it out, and I noticed that some of these crop circles actually don't have a center point. They don't have a center circle. I've noticed that there are some with the center, large section of the center is still untouched crops, and I was quite confused how that circles could be made without that center point. I mean, for the listener, probably the easiest way to think about it is like with a compass. You've got a needle and a pencil. The needle jabs in, and pencil goes around, and then you got a circle. So if you don't have that needle section, how do you create a circle?
Yeah, that's another tricky one. So yeah, I tried to figure that one out for years, and on quite a few of them, in the middle of some of the tram lines, you've got what you call drill points. So when the tractor is planting all the seeds, it plants them in drills. So in between them, it's probably like half a foot, and you can walk through these drill lines, which also look like, from an aerial point of view, there's no visual way you can sort of create a center point.
Hmm.
So literally, if you've got small feet, you can walk down through the drill line, create a center point, create the outer circle, walk back up, and it will look like there's no way of accessing the center point.
Right.
And
Yes.
there's also other ways you can walk your way into an area that's not a tram line, and you, as you walk your way out, you can brush the crop back up with your hands and your feet and put it back up. It's actually really resilient, a lot of the crop. And again, there's some crop circle artists back in the day, they would make a formation, brush up a few mistakes, leave it for a few days before reporting it, and it would any all the brushed up mistakes would
Yeah, right.
disappear.
Yeah, gotcha. So when you're talking about those
Yeah,
drill lines, I mean, I guess that all these photos are taken from, I guess, either with helicopters back in the day or drones probably these days, and you can't really see the crops. And I've seen some photos of inside crop circles, and I guess there's a whole lot of different types of crops, right? So some are
yeah,
more
yeah.
kind of like almost wheat or grassy kind of stuff. But I saw some where it almost looked more like corn. So I guess as the plant does grow up, the leaves kind of splay out. So from above, it looks like it's a complete
That's right. Yeah, yeah,
bedding
yeah,
of crop.
yeah,
But on the ground, you could actually scoot between some of the plants. Is that kind of what you
yeah,
mean?
yeah. And exactly. And if you're like an experienced crop circle maker as well, and if you're more of a non-believer, you can kind of zoom in on some of these areas and you can see where they've been tidied up, or you can see certain mistakes, you can see off parts, and
Mm.
um, pretty much every single circle made, or I'd say 90% of them, you can see man's intervention within making that circle.
If you know what you're looking for, right?
And then again, also bear in mind that a lot of the photographers and people who took all these pictures, which are in all the books, they know that the crop circles are man-made. So the way they've taken the images as well are the best direction of
Hmm.
looking at that circle with no mistakes or man-made, and which looks like man's interference in there.
Yeah. How many do you think you've done?
I'd say over 100. That kind of includes failed attempts and helping other teams.
Hmm.
But probably of all of my own designs and everything else, probably over the 90 mark.
Of your own designs?
All of my own designs, and yeah.
Wow. Which one do you think you're most proud of?
Um, so there's quite a few. One of my designs, which I was helped, probably one of my earlier ones. So I designed it, and this is one of the master crop circle makers of the 90s, um, which I met in Wiltshire in the early days. It was around 2009. I designed this jellyfish,
I think I
which
know the one.
might kind of coincide with a later question, but it's I'll tell the story now anyway. But it's we designed this. I designed this jellyfish crop circle and showed it to the crop circle guy I'd met, and we had this little team together. So he kind of doctored a few little parts of it so it would be easier logistically in the field to create. And so it was me, him, and his partner went out into the field, made this huge 600-foot jellyfish. I think it was 600, no, not 600 foot. It was like, not sure anyway, but it was big. You can see it on Google Earth, I think.
Hmm.
Um, yeah, and it hit the news weeks later, or few days later. It hit the news in papers all over the UK, and it wasn't until probably a couple of years later I heard the story that the crop circle maker that helped me in adjusting the design a bit. He went into a pub a few weeks later, and this guy, other crop circle maker that I didn't know at the time, came up to him and started accusing him of stealing his design.
Hmm.
And what happened is he basically had pretty much exactly the same design as the jellyfish design that I designed, that we went out and made. And then a few days later, is we found out that there's two designs the same. It's pretty crazy and synchronistic.
Yeah, that's pretty wild.
So
Hey.
that yeah, pretty wild. So that jellyfish crop circle is kind of one of my favorites for. So yeah, there's a few favourites of mine. That's mainly for experiences as well, other than just the picture or formation itself.
I have kind of had that happen a few times actually when I've like thought of something that I wouldn't mind making, but it's slightly different to what I would do, and end up not really executing it, and then you kind of see it in a gallery or something somewhere, like maybe a month or so later, and it's just like, wait, what? how did
Yeah,
how did that happen?
that
Like,
synchronicity, it happens a lot. I think in the art world, it's because you're continuously thinking of ideas, and you're plucking it out of the sky, and it's probably available to everybody else, and they're plucking it out as well, and it's
yeah.
just kind of joined conscious effort of it's crazy, it's we're electromagnetic energy emitting off us all the time, isn't it? So we're like picking up these radio waves, and we're interpreting them on as artists on canvas, and whatever medium we want to use. Same happens in music, doesn't it?
Yeah, yep.
Someone thinks of a beat, and a producer puts the beat down, and then realizes someone else has done it at the same time.
Yeah, I do. I actually really like that idea of whether we're generating ideas or receiving them, or maybe both. Whether our brain is an antenna or whether it's a generator or both. I kind of think it could be both.
Yeah.
It's a fun idea. I don't know. It kind of makes sense to me. But yeah, I don't know. Just a dumb artist. So you've kind of explained some of the main techniques and stuff, but I mean, I still kind of just want to hone in on that. Like, how do you get such precision? So I was looking through your Instagram page, and I'll just pull it up. Yeah, like I've seen a lot of your plan drawings and things
Yeah,
uploaded,
cool. Yeah, I can,
and
I can take you through any of the designs. That would be quite fun.
Oh, awesome! Yeah. So I guess I'll just kind of read through the kind of manual for this one. So this, I'll put the image up for the people who are watching, but other people, it's kind of a like a 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8 pointed kind of star, I guess, shape with a circle in the middle. And the instructions kind of go center, 4-meter radius, weave, 8 times lines, 23 meters from center. And then you've got the degrees, 0 degrees, 45 degrees, 90 degrees, 135 degrees, 180. I'm actually very impressed how simple the instructions are and how much they make sense. And but like with all due respect, this design compared to some of the other ones is a much simpler design compared to some of
it's quite a simple design.
Yeah, which is beauty and simplicity, absolutely. But and then 10 meters from center, 2.5 radius circles, 4 times clockwise, 4 times anti-clockwise, and alternate. So that's like a very, very simple instruction manual for how that's done. It makes sense. But I guess where I want to hone in on the precision thing, I've got this image on the front cover of this book, for an example, which kind of looks like it kind of looks like the magnetic waves. If you were to put 2 magnets down on like a one of those boards with metal shavings, and it kind of shows the magnetic
the magnetic frequency
field
that's coming off of the field. Yeah,
so it looks a lot like that, these big circles, and then you've kind of got these gridded interlocking lines that look like waves, like frequency waves. There's a lot in that. So walking from even just something like that, walking from the center to the outer circle, you got to be real careful not to place one foot on one crop. That's going to ruin the whole pattern, because there's a lot of space in between that is very, very intricate. I mean, there's another one. What's another one I could show? I mean, I'd love to ask you about this one later, which is you've got this one, which is an enormous.
That's the.
Did you work on that
crop
one?
circle of all crop circles? That one. That's the known as the Galaxy. Yeah, yeah.
Did you work on that?
No,
No.
not that one. That was a little bit before it was a couple of years before I actually got back into it and started making again. But yeah, I have. I've worked with people who made it. Yeah,
So, yeah, this is the one I was looking for. I'll ask you about this specifically in a little bit. This
yeah.
alien head one. So
The,
that's
the
a
alien had
very strange one with an alien
Crabwood.
grey holding a disc, and apparently
That's
there
right.
was
Yeah,
information.
Crabwood 2001, I think.
Right. So, I mean, with that and
2002.
that one as well, the way the alien is actually depicted is with these kind of line work. That's why I thought maybe this is some kind of printing. But how do you work in such precision? Because some of those designs it's like uncharted territory. All this stuff is uncharted territory. I mean, sure, circles have been done, but
Yeah, yeah. So
as everything's progressing more and more complex, like there's a lot, there's no room for error. You're working in the dark. How does this like any
yeah.
step could fuck it up? How do you do this precision?
So it's quite interesting. There, you've shown three different circles to me. Then each one of them were made by different teams, and you can kind of see the team in the way the circle's made. So yeah,
Hmm.
each team kind of got their own unique style to the way they make crop circles, just like every artist,
Yeah.
and you can see their style. But yeah, as you were saying about the getting the precision, so normally before making the crop circle, you meet up with the team and you have a brief, whether it's in the pub or somewhere, someone's house before you go out into the field. So you have a quick brief on the formation, and then basically go out into the field and make it. You obviously got your rules of no smoking in the field and all that sort of business, and keeping your voices down and not getting your phones out, and so those are all your sort of basic rules. Um, and there's the way you can communicate with the tape measure. So say the person in the center is measuring out, and the guy doing the other part of the radius is feet away, and he's finished. So you've got a couple of tugs on the tape mean yes, and then you get sharp pull, big sharp pull would mean no, and there's various sort of ways you can communicate through the tape measure.
Hmm.
But to be honest, the formations are so large. When you're viewing from above, it looks so complicated, but you can walk through a lot of the areas without touching any crop if your knowledge of that formation is correct.
Gotcha.
You know, obviously you're going to make mistakes in being out with teams, and sometimes you can have new team members. Even your seasoned circle makers and team members are going to squish the wrong part of the crop at one point because it's at night. Two, it's disorientating when you're in the crop and you're going backwards and forwards. You're not sure where you are because what direction you are, and pretty much only the designer of the crop circle would know what areas are correct the most, as the people helping are only relying on the designer to guide them to
Hmm.
where to plan certain areas and whatnot.
So you don't use radios to communicate to each other or anything like that?
No, nothing. No, nothing. It's all pre-communicated
Hmm.
from looking at the design, and it's obviously through communication with the tape measure, through tugging as to where you go here, where you go there. Then every now and again, we all convene back into the center point and chat about the next part, or get the plan out, have a look at it, and see where we are.
Hmm. Yeah.
So that happens quite a few times throughout making the crop circle night. We all convene back into the middle, um, have a quick, with your phone light, have a quick look at the plan, see where we are.
Hmm. Yep. Yep.
But when you said about how can you get it so perfect all the time without mistakes and going to plan, there's a lot of the times that you do go out with a plan in mind. Go out there with your team, one of your team flattens the wrong piece, or you measure or you mark out something wrong, and then you think, oh shit, I've done that wrong. And anyway, you try and balance it out with different symmetry, and hey, oh, you've created something totally different from the plan.
So there is a little bit of
So
working on the
you kind of,
fly.
yeah, so you kind of, yeah, just work on the fly, and if it balance it out and see what happens.
I did. I This is one of probably the most complex crop circles that I think I've seen. I think it says here it's Windmill Hill near Avebury, Wiltshire. So it's this one. Sorry.
Yeah. Oh,
And
yeah. That's almost like a magnetic field type thing as well, isn't it? So you got there's a circle making team who had like a series of these kind of magnetic fields and
I did notice
type
though.
frequency formations.
It seems like there has been a mistake, and that this is one thing that always kind of not bugged me, but made me wonder. So on the photo, and I guess in the top left section here, it seems as though maybe someone slightly did the wrong thing, and
So
the pattern
I
works
think
different.
that's photo. Yeah, I think that's there's a couple of different photos of that formation. I
Right,
think that was done over a period of days, and there's a picture with that whole centerpiece all filled in. If you can see that one little area is almost like it needs to be continued throughout the whole inner
right.
part.
Mm.
Yeah. I think that was done, and there's a different photo that exists with there's two different images of that one.
Yeah. Okay. So that took a few
But
days.
that's
Interesting.
happened on that. Yeah, that's happened on quite a few occasions where a formation has appeared and someone's got wind of it and took a picture of it, and then the next day the circle makers have come back to finish off the design. So it's
Gotcha.
almost like
Gotcha.
yeah,
Gotcha.
step two, yeah, 2 days worth.
Yeah, right, right. Yeah, it is interesting kind of hearing how you the planning and stuff. Like, obviously, it's very very different. And there's, like I was saying, with mural painting, there's a lot more room for error. But I mean, the way I like to approach a mural is as much planning off the wall, and then when you're on the wall, you just want to have as few decisions to make as possible. You kind of it's as
Yeah,
planned as you possibly can, so you can just focus on executing. And also with the larger, some people look at these really large murals and they think, Jesus, how do they do that? But when you do work large, if you do have the planning done correctly to get the proportions correct, there is actually a lot more room for error because it's always viewed from very far away. So those
yeah,
intricate imperfections are often very hard to detect. So I guess that kind of logic applies for what you do.
yeah. Same applies to the crop circles, obviously, because a lot of people are looking on their screens of their phone or on the small screens of a computer, where the image is taken of a formation that's
Mm,
anything from 60 to 100 meters, to wide kind of thing.
mm.
And you compress that image right down to the size of your screen. It's going to look a lot more perfect.
Yeah. So I want to ask. I mean, you've kind of set up with the communication through the string, but working in the dark, how do you get in, find the track lines undetected, all while in the dark, then just like knowing, having your bearings the whole time, because working up close down on the ground, you never have a vantage point, but you also are robbed of light. I assume you're not using maybe you are using torches, but I assume you're not, because you said before the lasers are the only time you have light. I would imagine it's extremely easy to lose your bearings, not know where the hell you are, and get lost.
So actually, it's really no. To be honest, it's really easy. So you're a, a lot of your entrances to the field are kind of not far from a public parking area or places that you choose that are really easy. Like I said, the planning goes to that point where you're looking for an area to get into a field, or a field which is near a public footpath or um, anything that's quite easy accessible. A lot of them are areas close to sort of ancient monuments or megalithic areas. Like I said, Avebury is a big stone circle. Areas near Stonehenge. So there's a lot of historical areas all around the southwest of England and a lot near where I live. So we visit these places often, and you're always looking around the area. And as any sort of crop circle maker would know, when you're driving around, you're just constantly looking at your next canvas.
Yep, totally. Yep,
But
I
yeah,
do the same thing, driving around looking for
that
walls.
that place would look really nice. It's the same as any graffiti artist.
Mm.
They're looking around and thinking, that it's the same as crop circles.
Is the
You
crop?
can take in the scenery as well, and you think, wow, that's an amazing backdrop, the sunrise there, and the formation and all that. So a lot
Mm,
of it's all to do with
yeah.
placement. Yeah. So yeah, you know where you're going to go. You enter the field. It is so easy nowadays because you got Google Earth and maps. You can look on your phone and you can see the blue dot exactly where you are. You can determine where you want your center to be. You can see where you're going to walk all around the field. So that makes it really easy. And it was similar back in the early days before you had Google Earth and all that sort of thing. You just get into the field, walk around, and find your center point, and then reverse your way out.
Mm,
I think there's only a couple of times I've been lost or got lost in a field, or someone else has got lost, and that's on the extremely rare occasion when we've made crop circles in maze, which
mm.
is fucking awful stuff. I mean, it's like 6 to 7 foot tall,
Yep.
and the stems are thicker than your thumb.
Is maize
So
like
you're
corn?
trying to stomp. Yeah, yeah, yeah.
Right.
Corn maze.
Yep.
Yeah, so
Yep.
you're stomping down this stuff that's really thick. And we went, I think it was near Avebury, a team of us, four of us, I think it was, went to make this crop circle in corn. And we we all walked in there, and there was an older guy with us, part of the team. We walked in there and turned around. Next minute, he was missing.
Hmm.
And that's like the worst thing is you're walking around in this 7 foot crop, and this stuff's got no tram lines in it because it's so thick.
Mm.
Yeah, no, I think it was the only time we lost someone. We kind of went back out on the road and found him again. But yeah,
Yeah.
quite
Yeah.
crazy. As you get disorientated in that crop for sure.
I bet.
Yeah,
Do
and then you,
do
and
you
then you
only
get reminiscent of the old. Sorry,
Oh no, you go on, please.
yeah, then you get reminiscent of the old films you've seen with like horror films of running through the corn.
Yeah, totally.
you, you do get a little bit spooked at night sometimes.
Mm. Yeah, I bet. I bet. Do you have like are there times that you do them and times that you don't? For example, full moon is kind of generally what you would when you would do a crop circle, or sometimes you get nights where the moon just doesn't come out for a week or so. And I guess that's just no point working if it's that dark.
Yeah, yeah. So there's quite a few factors really. The main factor is getting a team together,
Mm.
which is not so easy. So it's quite a niche subject. There's not many people who are gonna leave their family and go out in the middle of a field with some other blokes they don't really know and go out and make a crop circle.
For free.
So part of it is getting a team together and to be able to do that, it doesn't happen very often. Some people are working that weekend, or they got their kids, or they got this, they got that. So that kind of limits what
Mm.
time you got and where you got. And then you got the weather. You got to keep an eye on the weather. Whether it's going to rain that night, you can't go out and make crop circles in the rain, or whether it's been raining in sodden, wet conditions. So yeah, that's the two main things. Once you get your team together and it's not raining, you can try and get out there.
Mm.
Um, Full moon, if it's full moon, that's brilliant. You got that ambient light. You can see so much better, and your orientation is a whole lot better. But there's been other nights where I've made them in sort of the new moon where there's no moon at all, and it's been a bit not raining, but a bit of the fog come in, and it's been a bit misty, and you can't see anything at all. You can't see anything you've marked out. You can't see, and that kind of holds the time back a lot more
Yeah.
because you're concentrating on where you're going. It sort of puts things back, and then you can only kind of complete three-quarters of your plan because you've wasted so much time.
Yeah.
So yeah, there are so many factors that are creating the crop circle.
Mm. Yeah, I guess the
Yeah,
I mean, I still can't get my head around the precision. I guess each piece is completely determined on the how precise the planning is and how in depth, how well it's planned. Like completely, but it still seems hard for me to like really comprehend. Um, but so
yeah, definitely. I think back in the sort of early to mid 2000s was kind of the pinnacle of some of the formations, and I honestly think that was when a couple of teams were at their pinnacle of making crop circles, and they had sort of more availability, um, and sort of as time's gone on now, not many people are doing it, and you know, so it did reach a point where you had some really amazing formations. Now it's kind of as its peaks and troughs, but yeah.
hmm. Is it hard to avoid detection?
Oh, well, wait, when you're in
When
the field, you mean?
yeah, when you're actually turning up and doing it, is it? I mean, I imagine there's not a whole lot of people around to begin with, but so maybe avoiding detection is not actually that difficult, or is it?
No, not at all. So, wherever you choose would be either not far from a main road, so you could park up in a lay-by, and there'd be other cars there, and they wouldn't really, they'd have no idea what anyone's parked up next to them are doing, or if
Mm.
there's a few cars there, or you're on a busy road just parked up, no one's going to stop or care what you're doing. So you can just get out your car and nip into the field off the main road and have no worries at all. Or any other fields you go in, yeah, as long as you know that your car is going to be okay, you can sneak into the field, even if that's near other main roads. You see the headlights coming in, like
Duck down.
Originally, when I was doing it, you'd see headlights coming and you'd sort of just duck down into the tram lines or into the area, flattening, sort of duck down and wait for them to pass and then carry on again. But now I don't even bother to do that because you know that the car's going so fast, they're not going to see anything.
At night, they're
And
just looking
would
forward.
would they really stop if they saw sort of a little glimmer of something in the middle of a field? Stop you and investigate? Nah.
No, true. Very true. What size would an average team be? Obviously, depending on the complexity, but what's the average size team that you would work with?
So I kind of like working with teams of four.
Yep.
Um, that's kind of a nice team. So if you got a 30-meter circle, a team of four would be able to complete that with good timing. You go anything above 30, so you go 40 to 50 meters. Yeah, I'll go for a team of six.
Hmm.
But normally three to four is a nice number to go out and create a circle.
Yep.
If you got your man in, as long as you got your man in the center holding that's the anchor point. You got the guy on the other end who's scribing the outer circle with his feet, and then you got the third guy with the stomper on the rope, and he's flattening behind the guy scribing. So you can flatten on the outside of his scribed line or on the inside, and you can have great different techniques, or you can have a double thickness line, or you get a fourth person in. You can have if you want extra flattening, you have two people flattening at the same time as one scribing around and
Scribing is just
come
walking
across.
and just stomping with your feet.
Yeah, scribing. It's almost like sidestepping. So you're stepping,
Gotcha.
walking around like a cradle, like a crab walk.
Yep. Yep.
So you're holding on the other side of the tape, and you're just sidestepping all the way around. And all the way around in the big circle, and the stompers are following your line
Mm.
to make that nice crisp outer circle line.
Yeah, yeah. Gotcha.
So when and then if you've got more people, say you've got four people, and you're marking out lines with a laser. So you get the point of the red laser on the side of your hand, and you follow that line in a similar fashion. You can sidestep all the way along the laser if you've got that dead center in your hand, and you've basically created a dead straight line.
Mm.
And then you can continue completing these lines, and then another guy's using his stomping board to mark out these lines thicker, and then you've got, say, the fourth guy who wants to fill in parts. So you're creating this continuously working team.
Mm.
So formation can be made quite quickly, actually quicker than drawing it on paper.
Yeah, I was actually thinking that, pressing something down actually would be quite fast. It's
Yeah,
just the
yeah. I mean,
precision that needs to be bang on.
some crops are quite tough to work in. I mean, also uh, the neatness and niceness of a crop formation can depend on the type of crop.
Yep.
Um, I mean, some crop grows really perfectly. Other crops quite hard and sort of I don't know how to say, but yeah, it kind of stands back up again and is thick and thin in different areas and a bit straggly and then even though the overall formation looks excellent from an aerial point of view, a better crop would make it a whole lot crisper and nicer.
Mm.
But it's nature. It's great on the canvas. It's that imperfection also makes it look good as well.
Mm. Yeah, totally. So, just to play devil's advocate, like how do you know that you're fully telling the truth? Like, it's everything you've said sounds like it completely checks out. But do you have any video or anything that people can see where you guys are actually out there making some of these crop circles?
Yeah. So I think I've got a couple of clips of some night vision video of a crop circle that was created in 2018. I'll mention it, and I'll probably show you the picture later. But yeah, 2018, six penny Handley. So I think I've got a 2 or 3 minute video
Mm.
of me and the team flattening some areas, and you can tell the area. If you know the area, you can tell that's where we are.
Yep.
I've also got so I made a crop circle formation as a commission for Mothership Glass, an American functioning glass company.
Mm.
And so I made this crop circle formation for them, and I've got the whole video of the process of the beginning to end of the making of that crop circle.
Like, so it's basically kind of almost
Which
like a advertisement for their business.
kind of, yeah.
Yeah,
So
or
they
brand.
commissioned me to make it. And it's almost, yeah. It's kind of. But I mean, their brand is amazing. They make
Mm.
these glass pipes, and
Yep.
these pipes they're super expensive. I mean, one went for auction for $100,000 in America once,
Wow.
and had this. They had an opalized marble in there, which was sent to outer space, and it was
Wow.
crazy.
Did they give you one?
Yeah, I wish. No, I didn't.
I I reckon they
Yeah,
should have
yeah.
given you
So
one.
I've got, yeah. So I got the whole video of this formation created, and so many people kind of still, even now, still believe that the crop formation is there's no way it can be man-made. Absolutely no way. The video shows nothing. It's all CGI. There's all that. I can give people all the proof in the world from designs to videos to uh, podcast and you name it.
Hmm.
I can try my best to prove anything, but there's always people that deny the fact that you know they're not man-made, and that's what they want to believe.
So where
Yeah.
could people see some of this footage?
Um, I don't actually I've got one on YouTube channel, but there is the Facebook site which is Crop Circles UK.
Hmm.
So there's a whole lot of videos on there.
Yep. Yep.
um,
Cool. I'll check them
Yeah,
out.
and I think there's a couple of clips on my Instagram page as well.
Yeah, I've seen some of those. Yep.
Yeah.
There was oh yeah, just quickly, just kind of on like the crop circle community. So how big is the kind of crop circle community? I imagine it's not huge.
No, so it was a lot larger back in the 90s, 2000s.
Mm.
There's a lot more sort of researchers and people, selling books and giving conferences and talks
Oh,
and
I meant
connections to
I meant more
UFOs and
more the people who actually know how to do it and are out there doing it.
the actual makers
Mm.
ourselves.
Yep.
No, that's massively declined over the again since the 90s, 2000s. There was probably maybe around 10 teams
Mm.
working it. Some that are all around them years, maybe more. There was some teams who were international as well, and there was circles being made. There's copycat teams after the when Doug and Dave came out originally. So there was quite a lot of teams. There was a lot of money being made out of it, and through
Really?
books, magazines,
Oh, yep.
and
Yep.
yeah,
Yep. Mm.
then like I said, conferences and there was big in the UFO community and newspapers and so a bit like I said before drones, the big researchers would hire their planes and helicopters and go out and take pictures and they would make good money from that.
Mm. Yep.
So yeah, again back to the makers, that's massively declined. So there is a bit of an underbelly and bit of a dark underbelly in between with the crop circle making teams, and there
Yeah.
always has been sort of heavy competition or sort of a bit of darkness between makers.
Mm. Are the types of people that do it?
Yeah,
Is it similar to like
sorry.
graffiti? The types of people that do it, is it kind of a similar culture to graffiti and things like that? Like, are there a lot of people who are into graffiti that ended up doing this kind of stuff as well, or is it a completely? I mean, is it more kind of maths nerds who are real geometry heads? Is it like what's the kind of average
That's
person?
actually quite strange. Most of the people I've made crop circles with just have done it out of pure interest of how's this done
Hmm.
and it's a varying type of people I've come across who wanted to join in from artists, yeah, graffiti artists as well, and musicians. Musicians seem really, really interested,
Hmm.
yeah, making crop circles and yeah. So it kind of varies, you know.
Yep.
It's more the fact if someone really into wanting the experience of going out in a field with someone they don't hardly know and going to make a crop circle is quite
Yeah.
an odd experience. Once you've actually done it, it's fucking amazing.
I
It
bet
really
it's
is.
addictive.
Yeah, I mean, yeah, there's some pretty crazy things you see and sort of weird feelings you get, and I mean, like you said, the adrenaline, perhaps the adrenaline of going out into a field and doing it, and then sort of having to communicate with with no voice or anything like that, and then the darkness, and then there's the fatigue that sets in from all the hard work.
Hmm.
So all this combination of things build up this kind of like crazy environment, and it's yeah, no, it's really mad to do.
Yeah, I bet. You mentioned Doug and Dave, so that would be Doug Bauer and Dave Chorley. So these
Yeah,
two guys are the original two guys, I think, in the 90s, who came out and said, maybe it was later, I can't remember the date. They basically came out and said, no, these are all man-made. And that started the debunking, I guess. That's when people really said, no, they're debunked. And I feel that there was something, a shame. There's some kind of, once I've noticed with a lot of people where I've spoken about crop circles, because I just find them fascinating and beautiful. As soon as you show them something credible, they just go, oh, that's debunked. Like, and they don't look at them. Like these
yeah,
are,
yeah, yeah, yeah.
whether it's humans or aliens or whatever, whoever's making them, these things are incredible. And it blows my mind how many people like faff it off because they don't want to be seen as like a conspiracy theorist or something. But anyway, that aside, back to Doug and Dave. So I remember when I was kind of going down the rabbit hole a little while ago about it. I mean, I always kind of fobbed them off. I actually thought that they kind of look like feds. They look like feds if you look at them. They're kind of proper older gentlemen.
Yeah, yeah, yeah.
Yeah, and I was just kind of like, who are these like
I mean,
late 50s? Yeah.
yeah. I mean, they kind of adds even more to the great English eccentricity of crop circles. I mean, it just really adds to it. And
So
one of them, I think it was Dave Chorley, I think he lived in Australia back in his 60s or 50s even.
hmm,
So he was there when that Tully UFO incident happened. I'm not sure if you know anything about that, but
which one's that?
there was Tully, the
Tully.
Tully incident was called. So not sure, I think it was near Brisbane. So
Oh,
there
the
was
Tully
this
nest, is it?
the Tully nest, yeah,
Yeah.
yeah. One of I think it was Dave Chorley was living near the area at the time, and then experienced all the hysteria around what was caused when this nest appeared. And I mean, when he came back to the UK, him and Doug were watercolor artists, and they'd paint together. And I mean, one of them owned a framing shop, and they worked together. And there was one day he said, "Oh, why don't we go out and create one of those nests and see if we can have some hysteria like what happened in Australia?" So yeah, I think it was in the late 70s or mid 70s. They made a couple of these nests, but they made them in low points, so they had vantage points, so they were like in a bowl, or so you could see these from the hills. And they got no traction, and they continued to make these over, I don't know, a period of 10 years.
Hmm.
And then the newspapers started picking up on it, and then there's things were happening, and so they've been making these formations for years, and they didn't get much traction. And then all of a sudden it blew up. And I think one of their wives was like, "Why have you put all these miles onto your car, and you're just saying you're going to the pub and blah blah blah." And then I think he had to show her the book of newspaper cuttings of everything that him and his mate had been going out making. But this was back in the day when they were less complicated, and then as that did blow up and hit the news, I mean, yeah, there was artists younger who would think, "Well, I can get out there and make more complex and bigger, better formations as the way it evolves in the art world, isn't it? It's
Yeah. Yeah.
everyone is always better than someone else, and creating a more realistic picture or creating something that's better geometric, that's bigger, that's more fascinating, that's got more imagery, more um, something that's got something that links up with a conspiracy, and
Hmm.
something that
Yeah.
links up with uh, what's happened topically in the news recently, and then you would go back to, like, you showed me the alien head as completely different, complete different type of crop circle imagery started happening when I think that was the early 2000s, when I think it was when rastering started to come out on computers, and they could build things in blocks, and it was like your basic graphic design imagery. So there was a couple of guys who were studying that at a local college, and they got into the crop circle making, and then they could, like, how create a digital image on a field of the alien head.
Hmm.
And there's also proof that they done it, because they also made a digital image of, like, a celebrity's face, and
Right.
that's also on this certain team on their website.
Hmm. Yeah. Yeah.
In one of there's all the evidence in the background that links to a lot of these circles being man-made as well.
Did you meet? So you obviously believe Doug and Dave were legit. They were the
Yeah,
creators. Yep.
100%. Yeah.
Did you ever meet them?
No, I didn't. Unfortunately, no. It was, I think they were. when I was kind of making the crop circles. They were a lot older then.
Yep. Yep. Yep.
Maybe if I was starting to make circles in the early '90s, if I carried on then, I probably would have met him then. But
Yeah.
no, I never got around to it.
So, there's been heaps of other reports of other weird anomalies around crop circles. Like one is weaved crops. Some of the crops are like weaved together. Other claims of radiation in them. I think we've already covered the bent, not broken part. Is there any truth to any of those other anomalous qualities to crop circles?
So most of the anomalies or anything that represents that type of I don't know, craziness has all been debunked.
Hmm.
So there's, like I said, the blown nodes,
Yep.
and the bent knuckles in the joints. This is actually to do with the phototropism. The way, because I mean, grasses and crops are I don't know, millions of years old in their evolution. So you get adverse weather or animals who are going to continuously flatten crop. So every crop or grass has got the defense of reaching itself back up to the sun and growing again. So they have these knuckles, and that was what one of these scientists was trying to prove, that these bent knuckles were only apparent in crop circle formations. But that's been debunked totally.
Right.
Same with radiation levels in fields. There's always going to be ambient radiation in fields, and there'll always be different levels in different areas. Um, and if you hold the radiation counter that right down to stomped crop, it's going to read higher than it is if you're holding it above the crop.
Yeah.
And you watch a lot of these videos, you can see. So granite itself, if it's a more granite area, that's always quite high in ambient radiation anyway.
Yeah.
But
Right.
it's quite great. So you got to watch a lot of these videos where they do try and pick up various crazy signals, because it's all natural and there's nothing science based behind it whatsoever.
So all of this, I assume, for many years you've been working in secrecy. Why have you decided it's to kind of talk about it now and start uploading your designs and your kind of how the sausage is made through videos and all that?
So originally, I was making the crop circles in that kind of secrecy team in part of the underworld of it. So what we'd do is we'd make a crop circle. We would inform certain people, various researchers. Um, they would either get the helicopter hired to come and take a picture of the crop circle when it had been made, pop it on their website or all over social media. This was as far back as when I started making them back in the early 2000s, and they would then take ownership of that crop circle, that artwork, and over the years, a lot of the makers were thinking, yeah, I'm getting kind of tired of this. So we're making this artwork, and everybody else is taking the photos and getting the credit for it.
Hmm.
I mean,
That must be
there's
really
other circle
frustrating.
makers. Yeah, I mean, there's other circle makers who just don't care. They go out and make a circle, and then let the researchers have it or that sort of thing. Um, but what kind of gave me beef was a lot of the researchers knew the circle makers, and they were promoting lies.
Hmm.
And in a lot of the conferences, they were making up lies about people who were making them. Obviously, they would get question and answers at the conferences they would give. And when anyone in the audience would ask about human circle makers, it was literally dismissed or put as there are human circle makers, but there's a blatant difference between real and not real, and you know what I mean. And I just kind of got fed up with these lies and all the bullshit behind it.
Yeah. So
Um,
you think a lot of these researchers and stuff are knowingly lying? I mean, it must be a mixed bag, I'm
oh,
sure.
100, oh, yeah, yeah, 100%. So a couple of them have even made their own crop circles.
Hmm.
Um, but yeah, 100%. Some of the biggest websites who are, you know, crop circle related know the people who make them as well.
Yeah. Right.
So
Hmm.
it is kind of a big, yeah. So it was back in the day, it was massively business and money related. Now a lot of the researchers don't want to lose face because they've been promoting the lie for so long.
Yeah. Yeah. I
So
bet.
there is that.
I mean, yeah, that annoys
So
me. I
to
mean,
be honest, then drones came out. The nano formations were being flown by more people, and there's drone pilots. And then I purchased my own drone, and then realized I could make formation, take the picture myself, or even get
hmm.
footage of it being made, and kind of that would, open up a bit of truth and stop all the bullshit from the researchers. And yeah, that's kind of how I
Yeah.
started showing my plans and designs and opening up about it a bit.
Hmm. How do you? Yeah. Well, basically reclaiming your work. I mean, that's the thing. I was just wondering whether. I mean, it's your work, so of course you'd want to claim it. But I was wondering whether there was a bit of like a kind of code within the community that would frown upon that.
Oh, so I have, yeah, there's a big underbelly within the community,
Hmm.
and there is a certain website which is literally anti me. It's
Oh, really?
oh yeah, yeah, and a couple of other my team members is I'll tell you outside the podcast, but
Yep.
it's pretty fucking rancid website, and there's yeah, like I said, there's a big underbelly, and there's a lot of inner fighting. Some of the researchers I still know, but a lot of them who know me just they don't want to go near me now because
Hmm.
yeah, because they'd just end up losing face of all the lies they've peddled over the years.
Yep. Yep.
Yeah.
How does that I mean, yeah, that's the thing. I mean, a lot of people have a lot of pretty out there beliefs, me included, about crop circles. And look, I'm actually just so grateful to like actually for once get some answers on really unusual phenomenon. Whether it's the answer that I was hoping for, I obviously wanted it to be aliens because I love the subject. But if it's not, so be it. Like that's how it goes. I mean, also like how does it feel for you, like your art to be that good that people literally think aliens are making it? I mean, that's that's like elite levels of art making right there.
Yeah, man, it is quite crazy, but that is kind of the good thing of the undergroundness of it. So
Hmm.
in the fact that I can't really take that full ownership of it, uh, and it's yeah, no, I know it's crazy knowing that so many millions of people have seen my artwork, and it's I mean there's people who've had tattoos of my artwork, and and it's there's t-shirts all over the internet, and I mean my designs are literally everywhere on every kind of t-shirt shop you can find some of my designs, and it's crazy.
I mean, I've been super
So,
tempted to like jack some of the designs and paint them on giant walls just as an experiment to see how long it would take to kind of do this kind of thing. Because I'm like, well,
yeah,
no one's owning up to them.
yeah, no, so that's a good thing. Is that, for as long as I'm making them, I'm putting my art out there, and I can't really take the full ownership because I'm
Hmm.
sharing it out there, and everybody can use it as they will, whether they want to paint it on the wall or put it on a t-shirt, or and do I really want to go down that road of copyrighting all my art, which should be kind of available for people to see,
I mean, it really is art for the people.
even though I kind of want to take ownership, it'd be like. oh yeah, I done it kind of thing. But if people want to believe otherwise, and have it on a t-shirt or whatever, and paint it themselves and create it in any other way, that's to me that's art, and it's there to be shared, isn't it?
Mm, yeah.
Art's an amazing thing, and then it's the way people interpret it is quite amazing too.
Mm. Um, so we've kind of just mentioned it, but like, how do you feel about so many people? The kind of art you do, so many people actually believing it's aliens and dedicating so much time to that. And just for the record, I think like anyone's allowed to do whatever they want to do. I think it's rad. Like I really do. And if you want to keep it secret, that's cool. I think like as you say, if there are researchers knowingly just making money off this kind of stuff, I think that's where the misconception really lies. But I mean, nonetheless, how do you feel about knowing that loads of people, are, really believing out there things based on your work?
Yeah, no, it's quite a compliment to be honest. People think my work's made by aliens and not humans.
Yeah, seriously.
How the hell can humans make it type thing? But no, no, it's I've kind of opened up about it in to give people the truth about how they are made. Then it's up to that person to individually investigate whether I'm correct, and it's up to them to find their own truth. For people who want to continue to believe it's something else,
Does it
and
does it
they
bother
they
you
will
though?
never believe it. Sorry.
Does it bother you at all knowing some people are really kind of spending a lot of time on these subjects and
No,
stuff?
no, it doesn't. No, it doesn't
No.
bother me at all. I mean, I've tried my hardest till I'm blue in the face to convince people um, they are all man-made.
Mm.
But I can't fully convince anyone because what about that one that was in 1986, which is blah blah blah, which no one owned up to, and do you know what I
Yeah.
mean? There's no way to prove to someone,
Yeah. Totally.
otherwise, if that's their belief.
Um, there
No,
was.
but if what they're believing is harmless, which it is pretty harmless, they believe is aliens, there's no harm in that, then crack on.
Do you have still have beliefs around aliens? I mean, I'm assuming that maybe. I mean, maybe not. I was going to assume that maybe that's a common thread between crop circle makers, or at least why they maybe got into it because of that kind of curiosity of the esoteric. But do you kind of have those kind of ideas,
Yeah,
or?
so yeah, so originally in the 90s, I heavily believed in the existence of UFOs, and people were seeing them, and there's loads of sightings in Roswell and
Mm-hmm.
everything else. I was kind of hyped up in the early 90s with all that, as long as along with everybody else, and then seeing ET when you were young, and
Yeah.
it's just like this big culture of aliens and ET, in the media and everything else, and then the X Files and everything, and everybody was loving it. It was so yeah, I did have a belief, and then originally I didn't know that man made every crop circle, and they were all man-made. I kind of followed along with the belief that they were linked with UFOs in some way. So part of my actually going to make them and finding out that they are man-made um, affected my belief system quite deeply.
Yeah, I imagine. Yeah.
Where I kind of denied in the belief of any alien existence, and I was kind of thinking in a more practical way. And I mean, if there are such thing as alien existence, they wouldn't be in the form of man. I mean, mankind has got such a big ego. He thinks that anything existence outside of the universe, outside of our solar system, would be the shape and the size of a man. But look at all the other millions of creatures that live on this planet that an alien could look like or be like or exist like, um, or even completely different, made of plasma
Hmm.
or any other kind of substance that, just doesn't belong to our planet. So I've completely dismissed that link that aliens look like people,
Right.
unless there's another theory about time travel of,
Oh, I mean, there's a lot.
humans from the future traveling in time to come and see what we're up to, and there's, which yeah, that's a different belief. That's a bit more crazier.
Yeah. Well, I mean, I've been interested
And
in the
then there's
subject,
like,
and
yeah,
there's
and
lots of
then
different
there's
theories, right?
then there's kind of closer to the panspermia theory of
Mm-hmm.
the spores floating around in the atmosphere, because certain mushroom spores will last for millions of years in a vacuum, and they're not affected by ultraviolet light, so they can exist. They can exist in outer space for millions of years. I mean, if an asteroid hits Earth and it's full of some sort of bacteria or microorganism, then that could flourish on our planet. That's it's kind of the closest of, I think, to, alien existence or any form of intelligence.
Mm. Yeah. I mean, yeah. It's such a fun subject. I think. I mean, it seems like now there's a real emphasis on interdimensional things, or and uh, I
Yeah.
mean,
Then it goes down a deeper rabbit hole, doesn't it?
oh,
Yeah,
totally. Go. I mean,
totally deeper. Like you said about earlier about our our bodies is picking up on communication.
mm,
So you're like your artwork, for existence, everything that humans create or are artistic about could be alien.
yeah.
Where's that information coming from?
Right.
Who's transmitting this information to us?
Right.
Do we as individuals actually have an imagination, or is that some sort of transmission?
Right.
We're in a position where we don't know too much about ourselves or what's going on as a human race.
Yeah. Yeah. Definitely. Have you had any
Yeah.
UFO encounters yourself, or any anomalous
So
experiences?
yeah, years ago as a teenager, I had kind of weird dreams of being taken up into a craft and seeing weird orbs flying around, and but then I even done a drawing of what I saw in my dream and etc. And it was so realistic. Then was that created by hysteria of me believing in UFOs and something at the time? Was it my subconscious or blah blah blah? But then further down the line of actually making crop circles, I've seen plenty of weird stuff in the sky
You have.
and lots of flashes in certain things. But then you know humans aren't out at night all the time looking up at the sky. So it's another part of the crop circle making. You're out. You're out. It's another great thing. You're out with a team in the middle of the night, and you're working hard, but also you're silent, and you've got plenty of time to look around and feel and kind of see what's going on up within the stars. If it's a clear night,
Hmm.
you can see lots of crazy movement and lights. I know we got some smart people on our team. We know what a satellite is, whether what that is floating around, and a couple of members are kind of amateur astronomers and know what stars are in what area and what planets are rising, etc. That when we see something anomalous in the sky, which flashes bright on and off or moves erratically, then we'll look at each other and like, what the fuck was that?
So you've seen that while
Yeah,
making
happens.
circles, have you?
Yeah, you see lots of. That's a kind of a weird thing about circle making as well. Is you see lots of movement in the sky, lots of strange things. Some amazing nature. At one point, we were making a crop circle during a full moon, and there must have been a storm in the distance. And one of the team members pointed up and was like, "Yeah, look up at that." and there was a moon rainbow. There was it was
Mm.
a rainbow cast by the moon, so it was in increments of grey. It was really crazy. There
Yeah,
was no
right.
colour in the rainbow. It was just the grey bow.
Greybo. Wow.
Yeah. So yeah, and another formation I was making, which was I think I had 6 people on the team then, and it was quite a big 50-meter job. I think that's what my icon was on my when I dialed in.
Right, right. Yeah.
So yeah, I'd often saw these flashes when I was making crop circles in the past over quite a few times, quite a few occasions,
What kind of
and it's
flashes?
almost like a I don't know, hundredth of a second blast, like a camera flash, and it covers the whole surrounding area. And I always put it down to maybe it's fatigue, maybe it's just your eyes at night adjusting, or I always thought it was myself, but I'd heard other people experience the same. So I thought they were experiencing their own sort of seeing flashes through fatigue, or just maybe it was something to do with human eye. I thought. And I was making this giant formation, and I was walking back. We'd finished it, and I was walking back to the car, and this massive flash happened, which it kind of normally does. But at that point, I'd glanced at the team member, and he met my glance as well. And this flash had happened simultaneously, so we both experienced it at the same time.
So this would
And
like,
that's when I kind of realised that this isn't an internal thing. This was external. It was something else from outside of me.
how bright
Um,
is it? Was it like lights on, lights off? Like it's actually lighting up the crops and lighting up your surroundings, or is it like the just like a
so
little?
that like kind of for a millisecond it lights up the whole sky, the crop, everything, almost like white flash, bang,
Hmm.
everything's white. Yeah.
And you couldn't determine any source. Like, okay, it's like
No,
there's a light
no
coming from.
source, no noise. It just the flash appears from everywhere, all around, or um, very very odd.
I've
Um,
never heard that one.
but if you I mean, there's lots of circle makers have experienced it, but I've yet to find out whether other people at night, were like night fishermen, or people just doing overnight activities have experienced this type of thing. If you're out poaching or hunting at night, or like I said,
Hmm.
fishing, maybe these people have experienced flashes that they just brush off type thing.
Could it have been a camera, or was it brighter?
No, because it's happened in various crop circles, various areas, and it's there's no area that it comes from. It's
Hmm.
just like appears from kind of above, and it's just boom, a boom flash.
That's
They're very
so
odd.
weird.
Very odd, yeah.
Yeah, that's
Cosmic flashes, we term them as.
yeah, that's the trip. Wow.
But yeah, there's odd things that was, there's team members have reported seeing shadows of like forms of people around the edge of crop circles. I've kind of seen shadows of which look like people or forms, or you feel that something's around the area watching, or especially when you're working close to these Neolithic areas. And I mean, at one point, I'll link you to the picture of the formation as well when I tell you the story about this one. There was a formation we made in 2015. But well, I'd say to start, we attempted it first in a different crop, and it was a glyph of what you call a unicursal hexagram, and it's got a couple of lines in it. So it was a formation based on that, which is quite a I know in the occult world is quite a powerful symbol.
Hmm.
So we started off in this what you call canola rapeseed oil field, which is the yellow flowering crop, quite hard to work with. So we were going to make something similar in that we got out the car, got into the field, set up the tripod, marked it out, and I started getting freezing cold. But when we got out of the car, it was probably about 10 degrees Celsius, which is cold, but it's warm enough to work in. As we were in the middle of the field, my mate was going, "It's getting fucking cold, isn't it?" I was like, "Yeah, it is cold. I could hardly walk." And I was thinking, I need to go back to the car to change into these warm boots I had in the car. So I went back to the car, put these warm boots on, come back, still freezing cold, no change. And me and him both agreed we'd have to give up. So I packed up our stuff. I picked up the tripod, which I put in the middle, and it stuck to my hand. It was frozen solid. It was like sort of taking something out of the freezer. Really
Jeez.
weird.
Yeah.
Packed everything up. Went back to the car. Put everything back in the car, and yeah, it was really odd. It was so cold, and back in the car, it was back to mild again. It was almost like, yeah, same 8 to 10 degrees. It wasn't freezing. It was odd. My mate had gone and he drove off home, so we'd abandoned it. And I was sat in the car, and I think I was smoking back then, so I was rolling up a cigarette, ready to drive home. My car was facing the field in front, which was right by a Neolithic area. And I just saw this weird flaming torch coming towards me. And I was thinking, what the fuck's that? It looked like someone holding a torch on horseback flying towards me in these fields. And so, yeah, I started the car up and fucking put my foot down and drove home, and I got away from that.
No shit.
It was very odd.
So
Very odd experience that was.
Was it like an orb, or was it?
Oh, no idea what it was. But yeah, it could be explainable. It could have been car lights, but it was in the middle of a field. It was really odd, and it was night. But
Just a single source light?
yeah, it was one I just brushed off. But I mean, there is stories of that area of. It's kind of increased my craziness. There's stories of that area, a headless horseman, and it's just a couple of old stories from the early 1900s about people experiencing a horseman in the area amongst these they're called burrows, which are ancient burial mounds, which are scattered around the area where we made this formation. So that first one, yeah, we abandoned it. So we went back probably maybe a month later to make the same formation in the similar area, but in a different crop this time. But we parked up, and we actually had to walk through the burrows through the graveyard. It was quite crazy. It was dark and it was eerie, and we knew it was. It's built on. It was an old Roman road was built through it as well, and there's all these ghost stories of these shadow people around these burrows. So yeah, me and a mate decided to make this occult symbol, unicursal hexagram in the field right next to these burrows. It was quite eerie, and yeah, we were making this formation. And walking back, when we finished it, we walked back to the car, and it just felt eerie, not too bad.
Yeah.
Got back to his car. Oh yeah, my car. He drove home, but what happened is he'd left his phone in my car, and I drove home not realizing. Anyway, he realised his phone had gone, went back to the crop circle formation, thinking he dropped it in there. Went back in there on his own, looking for it. And then I think his story somewhere, but then he started freaking out, and he was seeing all these white lights hovering above him, and he was hearing these like deep voices and shadows around him. And he said he's a big guy as well, and he said he'd never been so shit scared in all his life, and ran back to his car, forgot about his phone, and then yeah, after a while he got hold of me and realised his phone was in my car all along.
That's pretty crazy.
So he had a bit of a weird experience. I mean, I wouldn't have gone back there on my own, to be honest.
That's pretty wild.
But
I
yeah,
was curious about your a lot of these circles and things are near places like Stonehenge, and I was kind of curious about the significance of some of the designs, but also some of the locations you choose to put them in. It sounds like that's all part of the project. Is that right?
yeah. So there's a lot of it's all part of the plan.
Mm.
I mean, it's any field to do, but I mean, some fields have amazing backdrops, like I said earlier, whether it's next to Stonehenge or other stone circles or ancient castles or hill forts or near ancient burial mounds. So I originally put my circles in these places where I know you'd get amazing footage of the surrounding area as well as the formation. So people would see sort of, hill forts that they don't normally see on social media, or different angles of areas. So yeah, the part of that is all in the 75% of planning.
Mm. I mean, do you are you do you kind of have esoteric beliefs or you mentioned kind of occult symbolism and stuff. Like, is many of the symbols, are these things that have deeper meaning to you and some of the other designers, or is much of this, is much of the actual design work, is it just these are really cool shapes, or are they kind of expressions of deeper interests of yours, or are they kind of sigils? Are they, or are they things that you're trying to maybe place in a strange environment like a burial ground to try and, I don't know, connect, or any kind of ceremonial aspects to any of these?
Yeah, kind of good question. Yeah. So consciously, I'm not consciously, I don't know, attracting magic or any sort of thing like that. But yeah, I've definitely got a belief of the occult. I mean, words themselves hold power, and you can hypnotize people through words. You can manipulate people through words. And in my eyes, art and music and anything else, along them lines, can have the same effect. Um, and to me, when you're creating a crop circle, it's almost like you're placing masses of intention within that design. If
Hmm.
that makes sense.
Yeah.
So
Makes.
if it is an occult symbol, it's almost like a ceremonial act, but
Right.
it's subconscious. You are physically creating a symbol, and you're walking round and round, and your intention is being put into that symbol. Um, so I think it has a powerful effect on people. Even if it's just visually, that that image and the way it's been created, it can affect people in certain ways. I mean, any art can hypnotize people to a certain extent. Whether it generates some sort of feeling within them, or you can look at a piece of artwork and it may influence you to do something. Whether it's paint your own image, or you know. Um, Go out into nature and see something, because you've seen a painting of it. It's very influential.
Have you had
So
any?
yeah,
Sorry.
sorry, carry on.
No, I was wondering, have you noticed that there's been any kind of cause and effect things? Like if you're putting a certain intention or a message or something in these, has there been a kind of a cause and effect of how people have responded, or how that's any ripples that may have actually kind of left on the outside world that you've kind of uh, noticed?
Yeah, I've kind of, like I said, art has its own interpretation, and people can interpret it their own way.
Hmm.
I mean, some of my formations people have interpreted to be associated with sort of natural disasters, or I mean, I made one. I made one of two sets of circles joining each other, so it looked like a. If you throw a stone in the water, you get the ripples, and it looked like two stones thrown in the water with these interfering ripples.
I know the one. Yep.
And I think someone interpreted that to be the tsunami in Fukushima, the nuclear disaster or something.
Yeah, right. Yep, yep.
Yeah, so I mean, people have these crazy theories themselves, um, but also there is a couple of formations I did do,
Maybe you were
which
having a
again,
premonition.
yeah, kind of. Well, there's a couple. There's another story is with this. It was in the UK. I can't remember how long ago. When was it? 2018. I made it. So there was an incident back in the UK where there was some sort of Novichok poisoning, nerve gas poisoning, or something. And someone in the local area had found a couple in the local area had found something in a bin, and they got poisoned with this Novichok. So there's this weird nerve gas and this weird story going around. So yeah, I went out and made a crop circle of a nerve gas chemical symbol,
All right.
and I
Yep.
was not far from Stonehenge. I was making this big symbol, and I think the person who had been exposed to Novichok had been in hospital for 2 or 3 months or something. But weirdly, the very night I made that circle, the person passed away.
Oh
So that
wow.
was a bit of a weird. That was a bit of a weird coincidence.
Yeah.
And there was another one. There was another one I made that went wrong. There was meant to be a. It was at that time I was being kind of photographed. Some of my stuff was being photographed by National Geographic magazine.
Epic.
So I'd had a kind of a designing plan where I made like the front cover of the Geographic magazine with the box. So it's got like a rectangle box on the front of the magazine, and I was just going to put like a basic glyph in the middle. Yeah, but it turned out I got all my measurements wrong, and the guy, a couple of guys I was with, that was kind of a weird night actually. Yeah, and a couple of guys I was with helped me out and realised I got the measurements wrong, and we kind of tried to fix it, flattened everything. Then thought we saw these torches appearing and made a run for it, and thought it was half finished. Weirdly, when we saw the aerial image the next day, it basically looked like a door opening in the middle of a field, and it was pretty cool. Like our part, it was quite a cool formation. But weirdly, that night, the Doug from Doug and Dave, Doug Bowers, he passed away that night. We
Yeah,
made
right.
that crop circle, and it was kind of coined as Doug's Dwarf, and then
Wow.
it's almost like yeah,
Crossed
yeah, a
over,
couple of
crossing over.
weird situations. Synchronicities happen, and yeah,
Mm.
it happens a lot within the art world, and
Do you believe in? I mean, sounds like you do with a occult interest. Do you believe in a kind of, I don't know, something else, a higher kind of design or kind of things that are, I don't know, more to this reality than meets the eye? Forces,
I've
spirits.
certainly thought about it deeply, lots. Yeah, yeah,
Mm.
I've thought about it. Yeah, something's got to be out there, isn't it?
I reckon.
Whether something's completely in control of us, or there is multi dimensions, and there's various timelines that we flip between. Yes, who knows? I've had some pretty crazy experiences that are unexplainable, and I've given up trying to explain them to myself, and they're probably just best to experience these experiences and be grateful for them, I think.
100%. I feel like we'll all.
Without trying to figure out the cause is just enjoy the effect.
Yeah, totally. I feel like we'll all
Yeah,
find out one day when we all keel
I
over.
think so. Yeah, yeah, yeah. Yeah, we're only at a certain part of the story at the moment, aren't we?
Yeah,
And
exactly that.
one day we'll find out the
Yep, yep.
the beginning, middle, and end, and yeah, yeah,
To-
or it just keep going on forever and ever, and yeah, continuous loop.
Totally, totally. So are you still making, or are you retired, or are you retired? Inverted commas, or
Yeah, I'm the latter, kind of retired.
yep, yep, yep. Yeah, okay.
Yeah.
Cool, cool.
Yeah,
Fine.
I talk about lots of previous formations that are, a few years old or,
Hmm.
um, yeah, that like, yeah,
Well,
any I talk about that I might have made this year or last year. Yeah, I might have made.
once the farmers have regained their the next
Yeah,
year's
yeah,
crops and income.
yeah. The thing is, a lot of the crop circles I do make, I try. The dynamics of the whole situation have changed a bit with how they're released and that sort of thing. But anyway, crop circles I do make, I try not to advertise the fact that the public. I kind of a lot of the times I wanted to keep the area non-disclosed, so the image would be shown, but no one would go crash in the farmer's field to go and visit it. And
Yep, yep.
because what happens as soon as you release a location of a crop circle, you get loads of people visiting. You get drone pilots trying to go, or
Hmm.
fighting to go there to get there.
Very
Social,
disruptive.
first post on social media of the crop circle that's disappeared.
Hmm.
On TikTok and everything else. So I try not to really advertise the location and maybe until a later date, or maybe give out the location after the circles have been harvested and gone.
Yeah, yeah. I
So
mean, once you
therefore
got
they
the
can't
shot,
do
you got
that.
the shot, right?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Because the thing is, crop circles I do make, if no one visits them and tramples on them or goes and sees them, the the farmer is perfectly capable of harvesting everything that's been down. Because due to the nature of it, it's gonna try and rise back up to the sun again, so it
Hmm.
won't be trampled. We've not really damaged that much of the crop. Very minimal damage of just walking in there. You know what I mean?
Hmm.
The heavy foot lines or the stomped areas, they will rise back up and they can be harvested, no problems. There's no loss or anger from the farmers. And what really angers them is lots of people coming into their field and walking around it, and that does destroy the crop that's flattened as well. So that the majority of the destruction is the visitors, and then the farmer gets annoyed.
Yeah, yeah. I
As
could
soon as
imagine.
it's all over social media, a lot of farmers just cut the formation out. They want nothing to do with it. Just cut
Hmm.
the whole lot out, so no one to come.
Yeah,
Yeah, it's quite crazy.
yeah. I bet. Man, what a fascinating, really, really cool artistic career you've had and you've created, and pioneered, really, like, by the sounds of things. I'm sure there's people been before you and your generation of these makers, but as you say, people get better, people constantly improve. Uh, with not a huge pool of competitors, I'm sure there's enough to, but not a crazy amount. The complexities that you guys have managed to achieve is, I mean, like I said, your art's so good, people literally think people can't do it, can't do it. So good, people literally think it's aliens. I'm one of them,
Yeah,
and that's that's
that's
amazing.
the grand thing about. Yeah, that was the great thing about English folklore is, that story came about before. That 10 years before Doug and Dave actually admitted they made crop circles, and then by the time they did admit to making them, there was some pretty cool, like, amazing formations coming out of that point. So 10 years of that story had already evolved.
Yeah, yeah,
And then when Doug and Dave come out, it was almost appeared like fucking these two old men have done all that. Um,
that was my
but the
thoughts.
art, the art, the art itself and the story had already been created, and I mean, there's a couple of copycats have already done stuff internationally as well before they actually came out and said we started it all off, because it hit the news before. All the crop circles hit the news before they actually came out and said, we're the guys. So no one can. People were saying, Doug and Dave couldn't have made all these crop circles all over the world or all that many. And I mean, bang, there it was. Yeah, it was already implanted that these things are so closely related to mystery and phenomenon.
Mm.
But mystery and phenomenon, especially of the UFOs and ghosts and everything, is just so. It was so powerful back in the, I mean, 60s, 70s, 80s. I mean, it was
Mm.
so big. I mean, even in Victorian times, it was massive spiritualism in hearing from the dead and curiosities and strange things. So that whole English culture is just ingrained that into stone now. So it will never ever go away. It will always be connected to a mystery of some sort.
Do you,
However much I can shout my mouth and shout at the world to say they're all man-made, and say as much as I like, but there'll always be that mystery surrounding it. And uh, but to me, it's just great folklore. It's a story.
mm.
Yeah,
Do you think we've been
great,
visited
great story.
by aliens?
Do I think we've been visited already?
Yeah.
That's kind of a hard one. Yeah, one of my beliefs is that I mean the Earth is what 4 billion years old, isn't it?
Um.
And
Yeah, I'm not sure. Can't remember.
we're only a blink blink of an eye in
Mm. Yep.
that sequence. And prior to the ice age, I mean, there's things are being found out more and more about some sunken cities in various technologies that could have
Hmm.
been used back in pre-ice age, and humans were possibly more advanced than we ever thought. And I mean that was only say pre-ice age over 12,000
12,000 years
years
or
ago.
so. Yeah.
Yeah, so I mean,
There's
there's
so much we don't know.
such a small amount of time within that time scale of and Europe's been wiped out so many times of different civilizations. I mean, my wife asked me the other day, "How do you think Stonehenge was built?" I'm like, no idea.
Yeah.
It could have been built. I don't know how many thousands of years ago it was actually built, but people were different back then. Things get forgotten so easily. That technology that we had, I don't know, back in the 50s has now been superseded and will be forgotten in the next 100 years. CDs and cassette tapes will probably not exist and will be totally forgotten. Maybe not because we have internet and stuff like that, but it was never the case.
Hmm.
That amazing things could have existed 10, 20, 30,000 years ago that we don't know about.
She could have existed a
Um,
million or 2 years ago, you
but
know?
yeah, exactly, yeah. I mean, how many millions in a billion, and the
Yeah.
Earth's 4 billion years old, and then yeah, so it is, and then no, I'm not sure if the original questions of aliens visiting the planet. Don't know.
It's hard to tell.
Again, but again, what is an alien? Um, I like part of the stoned ape theory from Terence McKenna. I don't know if you've heard that.
Yeah, sure have. Yep.
Yeah, I kind of like that. Where the alien is the mushroom. And we've
Mm.
taken on the consciousness and the alien consciousness of the the mushroom, the alien that's invaded us. We've already been infected.
Yeah, yeah, totally.
Yeah,
Been infected with hyper consciousness.
yeah. They could be infected by consciousness, and we're now destroying the planet. Kind of makes sense, doesn't it? Yeah, it's just a theory,
Yeah.
Yeah,
They're fun to play
yeah.
with. I
It
play with them.
holds just as much substance as little green men, doesn't it?
Yeah, totally. Look, Dean, man, I won't take up any more of your time, but I really appreciate you making the time, and this has been incredibly enlightening for me. This is a subject I've been interested in since I ever found out about it when I was a kid. I completely admit that I've been very, very convinced that it's aliens or communication, and yeah, I think I've gone in and out so many times of different beliefs of super conspiracism and
Yeah,
thinking it's all bullshit and then get creeping back in. And I think it's so important to keep an open mind in both directions, I think. And if that results in your preconceived beliefs being not what you thought they were, then so be it. It just gives more power to what us humans are capable of. And beautiful work.
yeah. Thank you. Yeah, your work's pretty awesome too.
Ah,
Yeah,
thank you, mate. It's a bit
yeah.
easier when I'm sitting in a chair, but
You capture some good shadows, and it gives you get some good warm feeling from your images. Yeah, it's good.
very kind of you to say. Appreciate it, mate.
Yeah.
So, what's the best way if people want to kind of follow along? I've seen that you've been slow drip feeding plans of your work and video footage of your work. I assume you've got a good treasure trove that you're slowly releasing. How do people find your work and come along for the journey?
Yes, I've got my Instagram page, which is I can't remember the name of the dot Duende, I think.
Yeah, hold on. I'll just get it
Off
right
the,
so people actually get it right. It is D_Duende, DUENDE.
yeah, so I often post some crop circles and stuff up on there. And then there's the Crop Circles UK Facebook page. Or I think it's called the official Crop Circles UK Facebook page, and I often post some images and stuff on there, and that's a really good place to if you want to investigate the truth.
Yeah, awesome.
Yeah.
Well, thank you, mate. I feel like it's not often that I actually get a some kind of conclusive
Well,
answer.
I hope I haven't burst your bubble too much.
As I said, so be it. The truth is actually what I would like to know, and if that's the truth, then that's the truth, and I'm really grateful for that, honestly. So thank you.
The truth is harder work than believing lies, but sometimes the truth is more beautiful. You
So,
know.
yeah, absolutely. Massive respect for what you do, mate, and yeah, appreciate the time. So take care.
Cool.
Thanks,
Cool.
everyone.
Nice to chat.
Have a good one.
Cheers.
Bye.